Rabbi Joseph is on.
I am on, yes.
Hi, Rabbi Joseph. I was
Hello,
just
everybody.
wondering if you can give us a few words to start, and then I'll introduce Vicki and we'll hand everything over to her.
You know, it's always very dangerous asking a rabbi for a few words. You know that.
We trust you, Rabbi.
That's even more dangerous. But just thank you so much. Thank you to our organizers who put these events together. Thank you to the committee, to Aveen. I'm not sure. I know there's so many people behind the scenes who help with these things. They are so incredible, and it's so special to be part of them, to bring the community together, such another incredible crowd of people. And this is what really builds our community. This is what makes us special. This is what makes us incredible. I've heard so much about Vicki's project. I can't wait to hear the talk tonight, to hear it firsthand. People have been raving about it when I've been telling them that this is what we're having tonight. So just thank you so much for giving of your time and your wisdom. But you're not here to hear me, and I don't want to keep you for very long. So that was my few words, just a very big few words of just thank you, thank you, thank you. And please, God, I'll have an opportunity to thank you again afterwards. But over to you, Vicki.
So before Vicki starts, I just want to give a little bit of background. So firstly, thank you, everybody. It looks like we've got a great crowd. Just a bit of background about Vicki. So she's a born and bred farm girl. She's a Plaas Meisie. She grew up past Michalisburg in Seiferbold. Not sure if I'm saying it correctly, Vicki, you'll correct me, on her family's farm. Vicki and her brother and the cousins drove 64 kilometers every day to get to school in Krugersdorp. And for grade 11 in matric, Vicki moved to Johannesburg. She's a wife. She's a mother of two very talented children who share her passion for the arts. She's a qualified graphic designer, national drama, musical theatre, and dance teaching. Vicki currently teaches children of all ages. She loves getting involved in charity events, giving back to communities, and inspiring young adults within the communities through music, dance, and drama. She has a love for reading, theatre, dancing, and spending time with friends and family. She's very excited to be joining our coffee club tonight, and I'm going to hand over to Vicki, and I hope you all enjoy.
Thank you so much, No. Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be joining your coffee club tonight and taking you on the journey that led to the birth of the Silk Butterfly Project. From an early age, I've always felt a deep connection to those who survived the Holocaust and those who lost their lives in one of the darkest periods in Jewish history. As Noah said, I am a mom and a teacher of dance, drama, and musical theatre, and I love young people, and I'm so fortunate to be able to be part of their day every single day and their journey. Teaching and educating is a huge part of my life. The awareness that over 1.5 million innocent children and adolescents under the age of 20 were murdered by the Nazis is a horror that has always tugged at my soul. In 2014, I was very privileged to join Nechama. I hope she's joining us tonight, and an awesome group of women on a tour to Israel. While I was standing at Yad Vashem, I was struck by the realization that much of my knowledge about the Holocaust had come from those who had survived it. But sadly, my own children and the generation that follows will only have a second-hand account when there are no more survivors left. I did wonder if Holocaust education for future generations would leave the same lasting impact on their minds as it did on mine. Some years earlier, I had gone to Prague, where I visited Theresienstadt concentration camp. which contains a whole collection of drawings and poems by these young inmates, where butterflies were a predominant theme. As I stopped and looked at the exhibition in Yad Vashem, the historical museum, I knew beyond any doubt that I had to initiate some sort of project to motivate the next generation and to keep the memories of these young Holocaust victims alive. So much of my passion for Jewish history, heritage, and the values come from our beloved late dad, Leib Pesach Ben Hessel, and his very good friend, Rabbi Kranus, both of whom provided me with an everlasting example of chesed and what it truly means to be a mensch. The Silk Butterfly Project became a work in progress. One of my first goals was to find a symbol that represented the children. And in my mind, there is no symbol more powerful than a butterfly. My attraction to these beautiful creatures was actually activated by my daughter, Kira, who is, I think, somewhat of a butterfly whisperer. No matter where she is, butterflies are magically drawn to her. They seemingly appear out of nowhere and settle on her hand, her arms, her shoulders, and can stay with her for hours, even drinking from a mineral cap bottle that she holds in her hand before they fly away. It really is truly incredible. It was only after I visited Yad Vashem that I began to do my own research, and I became aware of how powerful the link between the butterflies and the Holocaust is. In 1946, psychiatrist Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross visited the children's barracks in Majdanek concentration camp. And there she discovered hundreds of butterflies. They were etched in the walls. Some had been engraved with pebbles, some were scratched in with fingernails. And she attributed the significance of these drawings to the children being aware fearful. They saw the butterflies as representing their eternal souls, which would enable them to live on forever. The Silk Butterfly Project was conceived with the idea that silk, which is derived from animal protein, which comes from my farming background, is one of the strongest natural fibers known to man. And just as silk in its purest form is indestructible, so is the Silk Butterfly Project. It aims to provide each participant with an unbreakable tie to the memory of the past atrocities that almost destroyed the existence of European Jewry. 1.5 million young people died in the Holocaust, long before they had enjoyed the experience and the chance to live life and all its possibilities. In 1944, a 14-year-old young girl named Helga Weiss stood in the queue of inmates at Auschwitz, praying that she would not die after her mom, because she was afraid of being left alone. Ultimately, she ended up being one out of 100 children that survived. So I'd love to show you her story, and I'm just going to share my screen with you. And this is an intro to the Silk Butterfly and Helga's story.
Dad were sitting by the radio. Their heads hung low. This morning at 6:30, the German army crossed the border. I didn't really understand the meaning of those words, but I felt there was something terrible in them.
I was not from a very rich family, but I had good parents. We were a good family, and I had a very lucky childhood. But after occupation, everything has been changed, and our life became still more and more difficult.
Since March 15th, there's not been a single calm day. Everything is our fault, even though we didn't do anything. We can't help being Jews.
First, my father was expelled from his job. All the Jews were expelled and lost their jobs, and then also children were expelled from schools.
This time, the Germans came up with a great idea that even the Middle Ages would have been proud of. Stars. Bright yellow with the word Judah. At school, we boast about whose star is sewn on best, even though it's not pleasant to have to wear it. We make light of it. We got used to other things. We'll get used to this. Another new thing is coming to disrupt Jewish families. Supposedly, there will be transports. Everyone is getting ready for travel. The arrests never stop. Danger lurks at every step. When you leave your house, you never know if you will return. Tomorrow, we say goodbye to our home, our relatives, and everything that was dear and close to us. We are supposedly off to a new land to avoid persecution. We will be taken care of. Things will go well for us. I'll never find my way around here. But so what? We won't be here for long. There are 21 of us in quite a small room. If you haven't seen it with your own eyes, you would never believe it.
Men were staying in different places, but it was some possibility sometimes that we can somehow smuggle some messages to each other. I was fond of drawing, and it was December, and it was a time where children in a normal life built a snowman, but it was also a memory of the past life. It was such a normal childish drawing. I found this drawing very important because it was my first drawing in Terezin. And when I smuggled it to my father, he answered me, "Draw what you see." After the response by my father, I started to describe the everyday life in Terezin. During the time, I created about 100 of these drawings. Because I spent in Terezin almost 3 years, and they are very important today because it was forbidden to make pictures, to make film, and maybe that's why my drawings are today so important, because there doesn't exist any other picture material.
What kind of Mother's Day is it when I don't even have a flower for my mom? I know. I'll make one out of paper. It's not much, but after all, Mom knows there's not a lot of choice. Anyway, next year I'll make it up to her. By that time, we'll surely be home.
Terezin was used for propaganda. They wanted to show the world that Jews are staying well. Once it was invited International Red Cross Commission.
A huge cleanup of the town is in progress. It's funny, but it looks like they're trying to change Terezin into a spa town. Freshly sown grass is coming up in the town square. The middle is decorated with a huge bed of roses. There's a pool, a merry-go-round, and seesaws. Everything was arranged like a stage set.
At the time we very much hoped then International Red Cross would come and they would see the situation. It would be help for us and something would be changed to better. But inspection came and they watched and looked only on the places which were shown them, and the inspection itself lasted only a half day, and in the evening they described a certificate, they found everything okay. So it was a great propaganda and they believed it. They created a film. And it is the only film which existed, but it is a live propaganda film created by Germans. From this film, they asked the prisoners come to in front a camera, and they had to say, "I am well in Terezin, I don't miss anything." Transport were sent not only to Terezin, but also from Terezin somewhere, nobody knew where. It was called only the East Transport. We had no idea about gas chambers. This first 4 transports in 44 were men only, and this second one, my father was sent away.
Here we sit today, for the last time. We can't hold back the tears. We've stored up too many of them this past week. I can still see him standing on the steps, waving, smiling. Daddy, why won't you let us volunteer to go with you?
They promised these men, their families would stay in Terezin. It was lie as everything was lie. And so 2 days after he left, I was included with my mother. And we hope to meet my father. We had no idea that something like that existed. We didn't know where we were. It was a step in hell, like Auschwitz. There was not enough food, and for the food we received, it was not possible to live. The situation was terrible. It was hopeless, but we never wanted to leave hope. When somebody left hope, he was lost.
Mom is getting weaker by the day. The end of the war might not be far off. And even if it's only a week away, our end will come first. God have mercy. Give Mom enough strength so she can see us liberated.
For us it was a little too late. We were glad everything was over, of course, but the first thoughts were, so we survived, but what about my father? Did he also survive? We left the camps, but we carried the camps still inside. The people who brought us to Prague, they told us, you are free and go home. But it was no hope. We were not expected. Nobody expected our coming back. Most or perhaps all of them who returned quite alone. They had nobody. I had my mother. I never gave a thought about we could be separated. So when I married, she stayed with me and lived with my family till her death, and she died in her age 84, 20 years ago. We never learned really where he perished, but probably just after coming to Auschwitz, he was directly sent to gas chamber. I always suppose and think about him, what he would say, what he would tell me, what I have to do. My father was very fond of music, and I married a musician. My son is a professional musician, so is my granddaughter, and so always I think about it, how it will be a pleasure for him. So he is sitting with me now. That's what we learn, to be tolerant to each other, to understand to each other, not to be selfish, to be healthy, to have family, to have hope and freedom.
I so love Helga's story, as it is quite close to my heart, as with her whole family being musicians, and the fact that she presented this little video in the form of and through the eyes of a child is just beautiful. So my original objective for the Silk Butterfly project was to partner with Yad Vashem and other Holocaust organizations and to twin South African boys and girls of bar and bat mitzvah age with a young Holocaust victim whose life they would then be able to research and honor with the help of the special packs provided by the Silk Butterfly project in ways such as mentioning their twin in a speech, lighting a candle, or even involving themselves in a charitable project in the name of their twin. I thought I had it all worked out until I ran into somebody that I knew, and she and her husband had decided not to mark the occasion of their daughter's bat mitzvah because money was tight and they could not afford a celebration. When I really thought about it, I realized that this particular family was not an isolated case. Today, financially, there are so many Jewish families, and they are more prevalent than ever, especially against the backdrop of COVID and our pandemic, that are compromised. I think it was the Chev that coined the slogan, "No Jew gets left behind." And it's a sentiment that I wholeheartedly endorse, especially when it comes to Jewish children and education. Thanks to generous benefactors in our community, we have been able to help families and ensure that no bar or bat mitzvah goes uncelebrated. And it is for this reason that alongside promoting Holocaust awareness through education, and one of my great findings and my love is the Kensal University in Georgia, who have got the most incredible material and educational packages. And my conversation with them a few times when they found and came up with the Silk Butterfly project. A beautiful educational pack for kids to do, and it really is very meaningful. And one of my main primary objectives is to raise funds to ensure we have the resources to pay for these, like a shul brocha, a celebratory tree, the purchase of the first set of tefillin for a bar mitzvah boy, or beautiful candlesticks for a young girl, or even a magical, beautiful photo shoot with them and their family. But most importantly, in addition to ensuring that the message that they carry forward with them is never again, and it's forever imprinted on their hearts and their minds. And I strive to focus on our children with the spirit of chesed and tzedakah, which are complete fundamental pillars of Judaism. The Silk Butterfly is registered as an NPO, and we do raise funds through donations, some of which have come from monetary raised by our bar and bat mitzvah participants. We add to our finances with the sale of the project pack, which includes a magnificent silver round necklace and the circular charm that goes inside of it. And this stunning piece allows for the name of both the Banot Mitzvah participant and the name of their twin to be engraved on the circle. A certificate, information on how to honor their twin by doing chesed and tzedakah, and also partnered with an organization called Uhambu, who help children, which are child-headed households in South Africa, to create beautiful beaded butterfly key rings, and especially the book called I Never Saw Another Butterfly. It's a moving and powerful collection of poetry and art by children of Theresienstadt concentration camp. And I am very privileged tonight to have two amazing families that have joined us, and I'd like to introduce you to them. One of them is Amy, who has come, and I'd like to spotlight Amy because Amy is going to tell you about her twin, and she's going to read a beautiful poem from I Never Saw Another Butterfly. Thank you, Amy, for joining us.
Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to speak. In World War II, 6 million Jews lost their lives, more than 1 million of which were children under the age of 16. Most of those children could not have a bar or bat mitzvah. Thankfully, the Silk Butterfly Project is giving them another chance by paying each child with a bar mitzvah boy or bat mitzvah girl in order for each child to be able to reach this wonderful chapter in their life. I am honored to have been paired with Rivka Adler. Rivka left her birthplace in Czechoslovakia with her parents, Yitzhak and Golda, and moved into the main town during the war, where her family believed they would be safer. Sadly, this was not to be, and Rivka lost her life in the Shoah. To me, Rivka could have been a short, shy girl with blue eyes and brown blonde hair. She would take the blame for others, and she was very kind and tried her best to keep her brother safe from the war. I think she could have owned her own pet shop and helped animals. I still think about her every day and do my best to keep her memory alive by doing mitzvot on her behalf, as well as wearing this necklace with her name on one side and mine on the other. I also received this book called I Never Saw Another Butterfly. This book contains creative artwork of the children who are in the camps. One person sneaked in all sorts of stationery in order for the children to share their memories in artwork. I'd now like to share a poem and drawing with you. The butterfly, the last, the very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears would sing against a white stone. Such yellow. It carried lightly way up high. It went away, I'm sure because it wished to kiss the world goodbye. For 7 weeks I've lived in here, penned up inside this ghetto, but I found what I love in here. The dandelions call to me, and the white chestnut branches in the court. Only I never saw another butterfly. That butterfly was the last one. Butterflies don't live in here, in the ghetto. This poem was written on the 4th of June in 1942 by Pavel Friedman. In the picture, we see dandelions, white chestnut branches, and most importantly, the yellow butterfly. This picture shows you what the boy sees inside of the ghetto. I'm honored to have been able to work alongside with Vicki in this incredible experience and to have been able to keep Rivka Adler's memory alive. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate it so much that you could come and talk to us and tell us the beautiful poem and who you are twinned with. I have another mom, Bianca. I just need to find Bianca on my screen. There's Bianca B. I'm going to spotlight you. So these two boys have both twinned with me, Tyler and Zach. And Zach was actually one of my very first boys who I twinned with. And I'm so happy that B can just give her experience with both her boys being twinned. Thank you, B.
So my boys don't go to Jewish day school. So it was really important for my family that we do this. Both my boys wanted to twin. They obviously heard about it from the King David kids and all their friends. And we just found that the journey with Vicki was so meaningful. She held our hands. My eldest will tell you that the best part of doing it with her was that she helped him put it in his speech, because he had no idea how he was going to say it in his speech. Vicki was there for us. She wrote it for us. She told us how to do it. And then with my youngest son, who had to have a Zoom barmy 2 weeks ago, it really did, it was even more special, because we couldn't be in shul, and it was quite a hard, unusual time for us. And my son, who is definitely not a reader, he does not pick up a book. He's into his electronics and everything. When we got this, he's actually read a lot of the poems and everything from the butterfly book. He was so excited because Vicki actually went through the trouble and she found a twin for him with almost an identical surname to ours. So it really meant so much to him because he identified with it. The little chain he wore on his barmy day. And I just think it's really one of the most amazing projects. It's not just a piece of paper that you get, here's your twin, and you say something. It's involved. Vicki is there. She's so passionate about it that it really goes through onto all of us. So thanks, Vic. It really was an amazing experience with you.
Thank you so much for coming and telling us your journey with your boys, and I loved twinning them, so thank you. I'd like to just share with you, I'm going to share my screen, and I'd like to just show you the actual book. So let me just start okay. So the book that comes in the pack is called I Never Saw Another Butterfly. When I started on my journey and I eventually found this book, it was completely out of print. And Shockin Books, who had published it first time round, actually had been bought over by Penguin. And I searched and I searched and I could not find. I found one book. Eventually I phoned New York and I spoke to one of the MDs at Penguin. And I said, I really need these books. How much are they? And I started asking around and I found a donor who I'm really, really privileged to have, because this was one of my main items that I'd wanted in the pack. And I managed to bring in the books for each of the children. And this is the book that comes in their pack. The book was actually, there was a lady who was an artist who went into the concentration camp, Friedel, and she started drawing with the kids, and she started creating these beautiful pictures and letting them paint, and she brought in paint brushes and pencils. And in 1945, a Holocaust survivor named Willy Grog brought 2 huge suitcases full of drawings to the Jewish Museum in Prague. And these drawings were the works of the Theresienstadt concentration camp children. He had found them, and they were put into a book. She had packed all of them into the suitcases, and she had hid the suitcases, and this is the book with all the drawings from Theresienstadt. You can see how she got them to use color. She created beautiful rainbows, and I think the meaning behind it, here was a beautiful story about a campfire that a little girl remembered with the leaves and being at home, being with her friends. A beautiful one, I Am a Jew, where he used watercolors and pastels, and all of these are part of the book. And that was the poem that Amy just read, The Butterfly by Pavlo Friedman, which is why the book is so famous today and is called I Never Saw Another Butterfly. So I would just like to stop sharing here and just tell you a little bit more and show you some of the items that are in the actual project pack. So this is what the project pack looks like. You get your book, they get their beautiful necklace, and they get their twin with the explanation of where their twin was from and how they can honor their twin. These are the beautiful key rings that are made by children in South Africa. And the boys pack, where they get their beautiful necklace and their pack. And this is just it displayed. And this is where Amy comes in. I was lucky enough to get a phone call from a couple of girls who were doing their bat mitzvah program at Great Park Shul. And Rabbi Hasdan, who is an amazing rabbi who I spoke to, and he let me come, and we did a whole lot of different activities with the girls. We got the girls to paint their own butterflies, and you could hear Amy wrote about how she thought her little twin would be, and this was our Friday night candle lighting. And this is my daughter with her butterflies. So I don't know if anybody has ever seen a butterfly drinking, which I certainly hadn't, but that is the butterfly drinking from the mineral bottle cap. So it is real and it is very special. So I just want to carry on here. So although widespread immigration has diminished our size, there is no Jewish population anywhere in the world that is so generous, so supportive, and is so together in our South African Jewish community. So my talk this evening is not intended as a fundraising, it's just to tell you more about my passion and the Silk Butterfly project. However, in the interest of doing more to assist those in need in this time of our global turmoil, I would just like to express the hope that all of you logged in tonight will include the Silk Butterfly Project as a recipient of tzedakah, maybe one day and maybe now, given that we're in the month of Elul. One thing is, and I have to share this to you before I finish off, a mom came to me and she couldn't be here tonight, and she asked me to find a little twin who had the same birth date as her daughter. And I was shocked. I wasn't sure. I was looking around, I couldn't find, and I looked around and I found a little twin with the same birth date as her daughter. Not only did I find one little girl, I actually found two, with the help of Yad Vashem and a few of my friends from the Holocaust museums overseas and around the world. And they came from the same little shtetl. And I said to her, here the twins are, let me speak to her, let's discuss it. And I spoke to Kayla, we discussed it. And Kayla came back and she asked me if she could twin with both the little girls, which I said with pleasure. So she was lucky enough to go to the Kotel. She went to Israel and she had her bati there. And she did her Devar Torah. And as she spoke and she said a little speech and she remembered her twins, two tiny little butterflies came down. And I'm not sure the rabbi's name, but he turned around to the little girl, Kayla, and said, those are your two twins that you are remembering. And I'm sorry she couldn't be here tonight to tell you the story, but it was incredible and very special for Kayla. So it's often said, to know where you are going, you must know where you've been. And my goal is to instill the future movers and shakers of our community with an understanding of their history, with all its tragedies and triumphs. The stories of our people is filled with chapters of helping and giving, all of which can only ignite a new generation with the desire to do good in the world through chesed and tzedakah, and one of remembrance. So I leave you with this tonight. For every time you remember a life tragically lost in the Holocaust, you liberate a soul and allow it to fly free and proud like a magnificent butterfly. And I want to just thank Noah and Nadine for contacting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to all of you. I had the most amazing time, and I hope you enjoyed listening to the Silk Butterfly Project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vicki. What a wonderful speaker. Thank you so much for giving us of your time. I'm going to hand over to Rabbi Joseph to now say a few words again. And after that, after Rabbi Joseph speaks to us, we're going to do the lucky draw. We've got so generously donated by Mark from Corner Cafe, cake. And after that, we'll speak about a little bit about next week's coffee club, and which we hope everybody will join. And then, like last week, we can just, whoever's busy and is tired and putting kids to bed can log off, but we can have a nice chat with all our friends that we miss so much. So, Rabbi Joseph, over to you.
Well, thank you so much. I don't know if anyone has, before I speak, I don't know if anyone has any questions or any other feedback that they want to share. That was absolutely phenomenal. Takes a lot to make a rabbi speechless, but that was really incredible. Just so well put together, the knowledge, just so emotional, and it just really touches our neshamas as Jews. So just thank you so much again for giving of your time and inspiring us and motivating us and just reconnecting us, I think, with a lot of things that we never give much thought to. So I think something, a lot of food for thought and a lot of contemplation, and something that you're really passionate about. And I say, just tell us, words from the heart enter the heart. And I think tonight has really entered our hearts and touched very deep parts of our neshamas and gives us things to take with us and to contemplate in this time of the month of Elul. It's all about working on ourselves and contemplation. And I think tonight has certainly boosted our Elul, in that way. So just thank you so much. I don't know if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask Vicki, or any things they want to know more about the project. Are there any questions for her? No. Can't believe that.
Well, I've got some amazing moms. I must say, I've got some amazing moms that are on tonight who I've also twinned their children, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody wants to share their experiences of their kids who were joined and things like that. If you want, I'm happy for other people to share it, but the feedback in the chat is also just incredible. And just to say thank you again, thank you to everyone for coming. Such an incredible turnout. Thank you, Vicki, so much for sharing your passion and your wisdom for us. Please, God, when we start our Bati program that we're starting in the shul, hopefully in a couple of weeks, I'd love you to come and speak to the girls of our Bati program. And please, God, you can inspire them as much as you have inspired us tonight. And please, God, hopefully, who knows what will come of that. But, please, God, in our Bati program, you'll be able to come in and share this incredible wisdom with them as well.
Thank you.
Can I maybe just make a comment? Just Thank you, Vix. I mean, it was really just so inspiring, and also to everybody who shared, and Amy, wow, what an amazing presentation. My comment about it, which I love, is that, and you know this is close to my heart. I mean, Vicky's very modest. You wouldn't know how much amazing community work she does. But I love the fact that there is this marrying together of our Jewish history and remembering the Holocaust, and you know, you're doing it in such a beautiful, creative way, and still also incorporating, you know, making this like really uniquely South African, also supporting South African development through this. So I just think the fusion of those things is really wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you, Ace.
Okay, so I guess it's time for the draw. Woohoo! All right.
Yay! So, just one more comment before we do the draw is that Aideen and I will circulate Vicky's details for anybody that's got bat mitzvah and bar mitzvah kids, and also just the banking details, and if somebody wants to give tzedakah for this really, really worthwhile cause. I've got Adam here with me. I've put everything in a hat. We're going to shake it, and Adam is going to draw for us a number. And he's going to give me the number, and then he's going to say. Okay, say the number. Say the number.
Number 16.
Number 16 is Lauren Davis.
You know, last time
be a Davis family.
Yeah.
You know what? I enjoyed last week's one very much, so I'm going to pop it back into the draw to give somebody another.
Thank you, Lauren. We're going to try again. It'll probably be Ryan Davis. But let's try. Eitan is you've done one. Eitan, come. You're going to pull one out. Come. Eitan is going to pull one out, so we know it's completely non-biased.
This has been audited and verified.
Yes.
And your chances of winning are better than the lotto.
For us, the number is other side 31, and that is Lana Wolfson.
Woo! Yeah! Woo!
So, Lana, you can please just drop your details for me, and I will let you know exactly where you can get your prize.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is really great.
Such a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy your cake, and we expect to get some pictures so that we can post on our group of you enjoying your cake with some coffee.
Most definitely.
Sorry, Rabbi?
I said only at Or Samach can you have your cake and eat it.
100%. So just in terms of next week, we have got an amazing speaker lined up. It's yours truly. And so when we thought about the coffee club, Aideen and I thought definitely that we've got so many members of our community that have so much to offer. And like you've said, like you've seen last week, Ryan was just amazing. And this week, Vicki. And next week, I'm going to speak a little bit about what I love, which is my profession, which is the law. And I just thought, you know, a little bit of information about wills and estates, which came up in my you know, came up when about 2 weeks ago, I received a phone call from a client whose father passed away from corona, and it was my first corona estate. And it made me think about how a lot of us are not prepared for our loved ones passing away, and also just in terms of our own dealing with our own mortality. You know, when you sign a will, it's sort of like admitting that you are going to die. But there are so many important aspects to it, just with regards to children, with regards to assets. So I'm hoping to make it informative and fun, and not, as it sounds, as a bit of a downer. But we look forward to seeing everybody next week. And we also have a great mystery prize, which we'll announce closer to the time. But I already know what it is, and it's exciting. And again, just to thank my partner in crime, Aideen. She's been incredible. And Rabbi Joseph, thank you for always joining and giving us your wise words. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Beautiful. Wishing you all a beautiful week and a very special and incredible Shabbos. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for those beautiful words. Looking forward to seeing all of you next week. Bring your friends, get a chocolate. Who knows what the prize might be. Have a beautiful one. Thank you again, Vicki. Thank you to Aideen. Thank you to Nat. Thank you to all of you for joining us tonight. Have a beautiful night and a great Shabbos, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We can switch off.
Thank you. Wonderful talk. Absolutely speechless. And see you next week.
Thank you. And I must tell you, Dr. Davis, you were there with both my children when they were born. So the two of them came out clearly kicking and singing into this world.
Oh, you were great, Vicki.
Very
emotional. Yeah.
I was very lucky to have been given the opportunity. So the two girls for creating the coffee club.
No, it's turned out to be really wonderful. It's amazing. Really nice.
I mean, like we said last time, if anybody's got ideas or topics that they'd like to present, and again, it doesn't have to be. It can be informal. Please just drop us a line and let us know.
And I just want to add, I did speak to Nahama, and we had a conversation about just my dad and Rabbi Kranus. And I was busy saying, because it's the month of Elul, and she was busy telling me, which I don't know if she has shared yet, which I'm going to ask her to share with all of you. Rabbi Kranus, they created a Chesed challenge. And it's got a whole lot of different dates on it, and it says on it, give a smile, give a compliment, say hello, give charity, and pray for somebody. So it is really beautiful, and I'm going to ask Nechama to share it with all of us. And it's got the whole little dates of Elul and what you can do on each date. It's beautifully done by her family.
Is Nechama here? I thought I saw Shimi's phone.
I think, yeah, he was, but I think he might have gone off.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Ah, Nechama.
Nechama, so welcome.
Shimshon's in yeshiva. He's gone back to yeshiva, Shimshon.
It's his name on it's his name on the screen.
No,
That's
I needed a name, but this is because Shimshon set it up for me, so he has what he did.
It's a trick.
No, so it's a very nice. It's just really special. You as a family project, like you just do a chesed or something every day, and you just tick off the stars, and it makes you cognizant to try to do something different every day, to do a chesed. It's powerful, and it's also like it could be a family project, make copies for your kids, and then that's that is a big merit for Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Weinbach used to tell my husband, he says, how do you know that you will merit a good judgment? He says, make yourself useful, that Hashem really needs you. So by doing a chesed every day, like that's what the whole world is about. So Vicki, do you have those charts?
I do have it. It's on my phone, so I'll definitely share it on the coffee club, and I'll send it, and Noah and Dean can share it with everybody.
That'll be great. But thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Noah and Nadine, for pushing forward with this. This is such a great idea.
Thank you, Nechama, and we always love seeing you. Now we get to see you every Thursday, and looking forward to seeing you next Thursday. No pressure.
Yes, no, I love, you know me, I love this. I haven't left the show. I'm on Zoom.
Well, you haven't, I said to you the other day on WhatsApp, you haven't left the shul and you haven't left our hearts. You are still in everybody's hearts, and you can see that from the ladies group, how loved and appreciated you are.
Thank you so much. But this is a great, this coffee thing is so nice.